In the wide, open plains of the American West, long before highways and high-rises, there lived a man whose spirit refused to be conquered. His name was Tatanka Iyotake, but the world came to know him as Sitting Bull, chief, warrior, spiritual leader of the Hunkpapa Lakota Sioux. Sitting Bull wasn't just a chief, he was a symbol, a living embodiment of resistance against a growing power that threatened to erase his people, their land, and their way of life. Early life. Born to the plains. Sitting Bull was born around 1831, near the Grand River in what is now South Dakota. From a young age, he was marked by courage. At just 14, he joined his first raid against a rival tribe and showed such bravery that he was soon given the name Sitting Bull, a name meant to reflect the strength and immovability of a bull sitting fearlessly in the face of danger. But as Sitting Bull grew, so did the shadow of American expansion. White settlers were pouring into Sioux territory, and with them came railroads, armies, broken treaties, and promises that vanished like dust in the wind. The warrior and the visionary Sitting Bull wasn't only a warrior with bow and rifle, he was a holy man, a Wichashawakan, or sacred leader, known for his powerful visions and spiritual insight. His people followed him not because of fear, but because they believed in his wisdom, his dreams, and his unwavering loyalty to the Lakota way of life. One of his most famous visions came just before the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876. In a trance-like state, Sitting Bull saw soldiers falling into his camp like grasshoppers from the sky. He took this as a sign. The U.S. Army would attack, and his people would prevail. The Battle of Little Bighorn, a victory like no other. The prophecy came true. On June 25, 1876, General George Armstrong Custer led the U.S. 7th Cavalry into battle against a large gathering of Sioux, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors near the Little Bighorn River. Custer underestimated them. He thought he was fighting a small war party. Instead, he walked into a storm. The native force, inspired and strengthened by Sitting Bull's leadership, crushed Custer's troops. Custer himself and over 260 of his men were killed. It was one of the worst defeats in U.S. military history, and Sitting Bull became a legend. But legends don't always lead to peace. On the run, then surrender. After Little Bighorn, the U.S. government was furious. They launched massive campaigns to hunt down Sitting Bull and his followers. For years, he remained free, crossing into Canada, refusing to surrender, living off the land with his people. But the buffalo were disappearing. Hunger set in, disease spread, and eventually in 1881, Sitting Bull returned to the U.S. and surrendered, not out of defeat, but for the survival of his tribe. He was sent to a reservation where life was controlled, land was limited, and freedom was only a memory. Sitting Bull in the spotlight. In a strange twist of fate, Sitting Bull briefly joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show in the 1880s. He toured the country, riding in front of cheering white crowds, some who once feared him, now applauding him like a relic of a dying era. He was paid well, and he gave most of that money away to beggars and homeless children. But behind the feathers and shows, Sitting Bull remained who he always was, a man of pride who never truly bent to anyone, betrayed and killed. By 1890, fear once again gripped the U.S. government. A spiritual movement known as the Ghost Dance was spreading among Native Americans, promising the return of the buffalo and the disappearance of the white man. Sitting Bull supported the movement, not with violence, but with belief. That was enough. Authorities saw him as a threat, even in old age. On December 15, 1890, Indian police were sent to arrest him. A scuffle broke out, shots were fired, and Sitting Bull, warrior, prophet, legend, was killed outside his cabin. He was 59 years old. Legacy Sitting Bull's death shook the Sioux nation. 2 weeks later, the Wounded Knee Massacre would claim the lives of over 250 Lakota people, many of them women and children. But Sitting Bull's legacy never died. He is remembered not just as a fighter, but as a man who refused to bow, a leader who spoke truth to power, a symbol of strength in the face of injustice. Today, statues of Sitting Bull stand where once his people roamed free. His name lives on in schools, towns, books, and the memory of a nation that tried to silence him, but never could. If you were moved by this story, share it. Let others know that Sitting Bull was more than just a name in a book. He was a voice, a vision, and a soul that still echoes across the plains.